Okay, welcome back. I'm going to be doing a video today specifically centered around the Orc faction for Dragon Champions. The reason why the Orc faction is one of the best starter factions to begin with is it's really free-to-play friendly. Also, we've got an event coming up. It cycles through every now and then, but for Solius Mystery, and this event requires you to have a number of only orcs, and if you are going to unlock them, which I haven't yet, you need to finish the 5th stage of this event. You're gonna need orcs only. Recommended is 5 stars. The required amount is 5 stars on all your orcs, and a recommended level of 60, ability level 6, gear level 8, and rune level 16. So a lot, if you're just starting out, to build an all orc team just to get Solius is a pretty solid strategy. The other reason orcs are really good is that it has some of the stronger characters or heroes in the game that are viable running tower. So tower being the climbing multiple levels, and you're pretty much going to be using the same team. And this is my orc team here. It's relatively high powered. They are all 7 stars and pretty geared up. Total team power close to 100,000. I can run this orc team through the tower non-stop, pretty much in my sleep. So not only that, arena, now in my server I'm ranked 50, and it's primarily based around an all-orc team as well. Sometimes you splash in another character called Kyra, but she's harder to unlock because it's dependent on either late progression into the game or heavily investing in your guild tokens. So without further ado, let's look at the orcs. So if I go into the hero page here, I'm going to filter by orc. Here are the orcs that are available in the game. You have Randa, Torgar, Mortha, Mar, Corchran, Dieselrog, Hard Orc, and Mordoom. Mordoom, currently you cannot get him. I'm sure there's an event coming later. Hard Orc is really almost a Wales character, because the only place you can buy him is within the stars shop. You get stars anytime you get hero shards that you've already 7-starred. So there's a heavy investment in this game. I mean, you can grind this out pretty much free to play or minor purchases here and there, and every now and then Hard Orc will show up in the shop. But for the purposes of this review, I'm going to ignore him. More experienced players will be quick to comment that once you do get him, he can fit right into your orc team, and he is one of the top tier characters in the game. Dieselrog, admittedly for myself, I haven't really tried him out. Haven't seen many teams using him. He just doesn't fit with my current orc setup. So that leads us to the orcs themselves. I'm going to go through one by one, starting from the right, and we have Corchran. Corchran is a fighter mage, so he is squishy. But what makes him invaluable to the team is his abilities. So let's review those abilities, starting with the first. Lava Boulder deals 200% of magic damage to an enemy and inflicts burning for 2 turns, at least at a fully powered level. Mine's only at level 5 right now. The burning is critical. Burning is basically a bleed of some sorts. Does damage over time at the end of the hero's turn. But his paired ability, which is Spectral Beast, a stunned and burned target will be dealt an additional 100% of magic damage. So this is potentially very powerful one-shot kill if you can stun and burn your target. So I've let you know how you burn your target with Lava Boulder. You stun with his best attack, which is Storm. This is a fully leveled up ability, so it deals 190% of magic damage to all enemies. So this is a powerful AoE attack, 50% to stun for a turn. When you are in arena or you are in a lot of the campaign modes, the stun is invaluable, which is a lot of reason why Corchran is pretty awesome for Orc teams. I didn't mention in previous reviews as to how the effectiveness of a character or hero can apply their effects, and that's actually in potency. So sorry, if I go to the stats here, and you can do this with any character and scroll down. In the secondary stats, you have potency, which affects the chance to apply combat effects to enemies. In this case, I have them close to 70%. So 70% chance to inflict things like burning and stun to an enemy. So the fealty ability is passive. It adds 30% to his potency and an extra 5% for each living orc in the party. So you have a 5-character orc party, and including Corchran, that's 25% plus 30% just for potency. So he's pretty guaranteed to land on most of his attacks. So that's Corchran in general. I'm going to talk about runes in a separate video. Next we have Mar. Mar is here for one thing and one thing only, and that's 2 attacks, and I'll get to that. His first attack, this will hurt, deals a good amount, 240 to 300% of physical damage to an enemy, but really that is powered up through the rest of his abilities. His second ability is his best ability, one of the most dangerous in the game, deadly in arena. This will hurt real bad, deals 220% of physical damage to all enemies. If this ability deals at least 4 critical hits, its cooldown is reset. That is crazy reuse, and coupled with his other 2 abilities, it makes him, once he gets that off, he has a chance to repeat that move on his very next turn. So his rage gains a damage increase, a crit chance increase, and a crit damage increase for 2 turns, and recovers 50% of the turn meter. This is critical to use. The second this cooldown is off, you want to use rage. That almost guarantees he's going to move before your enemies and powers up his AoE attack. So you want to pair those together all the time, every time, and you have the potential of wiping the entire enemy team with that one move alone. His passive, called Ouch, deals 1% more damage for each 2% of his missing health. So as he's not exactly a stellar defender, pretty much the more he's missing health, the more damage he does. So he's not glass cannon per se, but he is I would call him pretty much a one-trick pony combo attack with rage and then followed up by his AoE. Next we have Mortha, who as a character alone is average, but currently one of the only clan healers. I'm sure we're going to get more very soon, and she'll be replaced in terms of tier ranking, but for your orc team, pretty solid, because you do need to heal your orc team. The first ability is Ball Lightning, deals 200% of magic damage to an enemy, but 50% chance to deal through a shield. Pretty effective against arena if you're trying to get through enemy shields first. If your team is fast enough, you're facing arena teams with Kyra, who eventually will turn her team invisible. Once she gets that off, you're pretty much dead. So this helps with it. It's still not an amazing attack. Her chain heal is quite effective. It heals the ally for 400% of her magic damage and then chains to the next two lowest health allies. And so you have not an AoE heal, but a pretty high level heal for 3 of your characters. Personal Curse, this again deals a decent amount of magic damage, but it also gives a shield to one of your allies. Problem with this move is that it'd be maybe overpowered, but more effective if it gave the shield to the lowest health ally, but often it's not to somebody that actually needs it. And lastly, her passive. She gains a 10% magic damage increase for each living orc in the party. So similar to Corchran, the more orcs you have, the more powerful her attacks become. Now we get to Torgar, who is the tank of the group and arguably one of the best tanks in the game. His versatility in many teams, not just orcs, is great, and you can easily farm his shards just by completing daily tasks. Like, let me try to see the achievements here. In the achievements, just logging in every day gives you one, but you can see a lot of the achievements that I'm close to getting some, like win 100 arena battles. You get 3 of his shards, so you're gonna get him to 7 stars fairly quickly just by playing the game. So going back to Torgar, his first move is Crushing Blow. This is the move that, as a defensive move, really can cripple an enemy team. The reason I say that is because he has a counterattack. So a 35% to stun the target for 1 turn. His second move is what gives him the taunt and counterattack. So he assumes a defensive stance. Another use of this changes to offensive. So he goes from being more tanky to having a little bit more offensive firepower, but you're not really using that for those purposes. You're using this to taunt and to gain counterattack. His third move, Second Wind, very useful when he gets debuffs on him. Fully powered up will remove all debuffs and give him a 10% health recovery plus 2 regen stacks. So just gives him more survivability. His passive just powers up his stances. So you're gonna get physical armor increased by 30% in defensive and physical damage increased by 30% in an offensive stance. Lastly, his leadership. I really haven't powered this up because I use Randa and leader for most parts, but all allied orcs receive potency increases and tenacity increase. And when they inflict a debuff, they gain 5% of health. As I progress in the game, I can see myself switching to his lead, maybe as I'm approaching the last stages of campaign mode. But Torgar is here for really mainly one reason. One, to taunt and to gain counterattack, and when he counterattacks, he has a 35% chance to stun. That is really great in Arena, especially when you're fighting against Torgar teams. You're going to see most of the high-level Arena teams have Torgar in there just because it just cripples you. 35% chance to cripple the opponent from moving could swing the tide between a win and a loss in Arena. Lastly, we have Randa. Randa is doubly powerful because she has her bear friend, which acts also as a tank, a mini tank, or maybe an off tank if you were to talk about old school multiplayer games. So her first move, Fierce Shot, is quite powerful because not only does it do 240% damage, but Battle Poo, who is the bear, will also give an attack. Summon Beast is mainly one of her moves where she can summon the bear. It gains a taunt and 80% of her health, 50% of her damage, and if you use it again, it heals the bear or battle poo. Her Hunter's Volley is an AoE attack. It spreads 8 arrows, dealing 80% of physical damage. Highly effective, especially when you have one enemy remaining, because it'll rain all 8 arrows at them and pretty much one-shot them. Old Friend passive, while Battle Poo is alive, her physical and magical armors increase, so really makes her difficult to kill as long as the bear is out. Lastly, it's her leadership ability that most players will use, especially in an all-orc team. All the allies from clans, which is, you could have a clan team, gains 25% physical damage increase and magic damage increase. All allied orcs gain lifesteal for each living orc in the party, and that's what makes it powerful. So if she also powers up goblins and pride, so an all-around good character for versatility. Again, somebody you can easily farm because early in the game. It's Dawn of the Order chapter 3 or act 3 and then act 1, so you can be farming her pretty much in your first couple days of playing this game, just every day. Again, her lifesteal with the orcs is what makes her powerful, because if you can imagine somebody like Mar, when he uses AoE, he's pretty much going to heal himself back to full health as long as Randa is alive. So there you have it. That's my basic review on the orcs as a whole. I'm looking forward to the Solius event coming up in a few days here, 4 more days, because I've been building. As you can see, my orc team is ready to go, and I'm going to do my best to try to get a 7-star Solius. So that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos on character reviews and eventually a tier list. Thanks for watching.